Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started. My name is Patrick Heller. I'm a professor here in the Department of Sociology and currently have the pleasure of serving as chair of the department. On behalf of the faculty, the staff, and the Department of Sociology at Brown University, I would like to welcome our graduating students, their families, their friends to this, and I will emphasize, last part of the Brown graduation ceremony. Now, I'm sure you haven't heard this yet today, but this is the 251st commencement at Brown University. Sociology itself first appeared in the Brown curriculum in 1891. The first sociology degree was awarded in 1909, making this the 110th anniversary of sociology at Brown. So today I have the honor and privilege of welcoming to our department our corporation member, Nancy Hyde, class of 1980. Nancy has done this before, and we're thrilled to have her back today. Nancy is the principal of NCH Consulting and also presently serves as a select woman in the town of Westwood, Massachusetts. As a Brown student, Nancy did her BA in economics and then went on to do an MBA at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School. Nancy has served, some partisans here. Nancy has served as president of the Brown Alumni Association and the Association of Class Leaders and is also co-president of her class. Nancy, thank you very much for being with us here today. I now have the great pleasure of introducing my colleagues from the Department of Sociology who are here with us today. I will read out their names, introduce them, and ask that they stand. And I'm going to begin at the very end. Professor Gregory Elliott. Professor Michael Kennedy. Professor David Lindstrom. Professor Kevin Moenda. Professor Jayanti Owens. Professor Susan Short. Professor Michael White. Professor Scott Frickle. And Professor Carrie Spearin. I also want to take a moment to thank our extraordinary staff, not only for all the work that they've done to put this ceremony together, but for all the work they've done in supporting our students here in the Department of Sociology. Amanda Figgins, who's standing in the back. Shane Martin, who is over in the corner of who's live streaming the ceremony. And Betsy Valley, who will be assisting us handing out the degrees. So now I have the pleasure of introducing the director of our graduate studies program, Professor Scott Frickle, who will announce our master's and PhD degree recipients. Now these degrees, as you know, were officially conferred at the graduate school commencement ceremony this morning. Now the Department of Sociology recognizes them and their accomplishments in this ceremony. Scott?
Hello, everyone. It's my privilege today to recognize students receiving their MA or PhD in sociology, master's degree in integrative studies, and the master's degree in social analysis and research, or MSAR. Together with your families, friends, and mentors, I congratulate you on these important accomplishments. It's always meaningful to celebrate new graduate students, both because it provides an opportunity to reflect on our students' paths and accomplishments, and because it provides a clear sense of the passing of time as another milestone is reached and another academic season comes to a close. Today, you'll hear a little bit about the sociological research of our PhD graduates that describe world historical processes unfolding across at least 4 continents and literally dozens of countries. Work that harnesses a range of qualitative and quantitative approaches and pushes envelopes of sociological and demographic theory to answer some very big questions. Questions about race and socio-ecological relations, about empire and political struggle, and about migration and urbanization and the consequences of those processes for people's health. And this is precisely what I continue to find so wonderfully fascinating about the discipline of sociology. It brings the world to our doorstep, and it produces knowledge about that world that continually asks us, or really challenges us, to always be making new sense of it. And so, while we mark time today, let's remember that the world's social dynamism and complexity is, in a way, timeless. Society will always give us more to learn and more reason to share what we learn with others. So today we celebrate all of our graduates for your efforts and accomplishments and give you our very best wishes as you embark on next steps. And as you take those next steps, we look forward to following your developing careers. I'll begin with our students receiving the master's degree. As I call your names, graduates, please come forward to be acknowledged and receive a small gift from the department. The first up are 5 students who have earned the degree of Master of Science in Social Analysis and Research. Kitty Cheong, Ryan Connor, in absentia. Hamila Gilmore, in absentia. Nicholas Hoynes, here, present. And Carlos Antonio Manzano, in absentia. We had 1 student who has earned the degree of Master of Science in Integrative Studies. Emily Wanderer, also in absentia. Emily's thesis is titled Making Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Count in Social Enterprise, an organizational analysis with proposals for change. Her advisor on this thesis is Michael Kennedy. 12 students enrolled in the PhD program have today earned the degree Master of Arts in Sociology. Jonathan Acosta. Hang on just a second. Jonathan's thesis is titled No Mas, Who Said No to Evo? His advisor is Dr. Andrew Schrank. His reader is Michael Kennedy. Jocelyn Bell. Jocelyn's thesis is entitled Until We Weep, Rhode Island Protestant Christian Churches and Moving Beyond a Diversity Paradigm to Feeling Equality. Her advisor is Josh Pashowitz, her reader, Daniel Hirschman. Megan Collier, in absentia. Megan's thesis is titled Association of Parental Engagement and Achievement and Variation at the District Level. Her advisor is Margot Jackson, and the reader on that thesis is Emily Rauscher. Carolina Dos Santos. Carolina's thesis is titled Unmasking Chile, Administrative Procedures as Tools of Selective Immigration Policy. She was advised on this work by Dr. Andrew Schrank, and her reader was Nitzan Khorev. Chanel Hale, also in absentia. Her thesis is titled Professionals, Policy Entrepreneurs, and Politicos, Congressional Staff Organizations as Career Socialization Mechanisms. Her advisor is Andrew Schrank. Her reader is Josh Pashowitz. Tate Kehara. Tate's thesis is titled Achievement Gaps by Maternal... Oh, go get it. Go ahead. Achievement Gaps by Maternal Education from Early Childhood to Young Adulthood, a life course comparison of children of immigrants and natives in the United States. He's advised on this work by Margot Jackson, and the reader on this thesis was Michael White. Tate, stay here, yeah. Tate is also this year's winner of the Alden Speer Jr. Award, which recognizes superior achievement in the Master of Arts thesis. The award is named for the late Professor Alden Speer, who was a faculty member in the Department of Sociology from 1969 until 1994. As the award description notes, Professor Speer spent untold hours advising MA thesis candidates, helping them with their computer programs, data manipulation, and writing. In remembering Professor Speer, the faculty felt it is especially appropriate to recognize his work with master's students. Tate, congratulations for an excellent thesis, much deserved honor. Maria Lopez Portillo Alcazar. Her thesis is titled, A State Afraid of Itself, The Disillusion of the National Indigenous Institute of Mexico and the Limits of Bureaucratic Autonomy. Her advisor is Josh Pashowitz, and the reader on that thesis is Daniel Hirschman. Salma Mutwafi. Her thesis is titled, Beneath African Marriage is a Process, Prevalence, Trends, and Correlates of Cohabitation in 21 Sub-Saharan African Countries. Her advisor is Dr. Susan Short, and reading on this thesis is by David Lindstrom. Yifan Shen, in absentia. Yifan's thesis is titled, Yifan's thesis is titled Changing Within Couple Earnings Association and Trends in Earnings Inequality Among Married Couples in Urban China, 1988-2013. His advisor on the thesis is Zhenxiao Chen, and the reader is Emily Rauscher. Hao Ming Song. Hao Ming's thesis, short and sweet, titled Women's Repartnering After Divorce. Advisor is Zhenxiao Chen, and the reader on this thesis is Emily Rauscher. Renetta Walcott, in absentia. Her thesis is titled Class Background and the Interracial Ties of Black Women at White Universities. Her advisor on the thesis is Jose Itzikson, and her reader is Michael Kennedy. Xiaoxian Wan. Her thesis is titled Uneven and Contested Transnational Racialization, Changing Status of African Traders in China from Foreigners to Migrants. Her advisor is Nitzan Khorev, and the reader on this thesis is Daniel Hirschman. Finally, this year, we are celebrating 4 students who have earned doctoral degrees in sociology, the PhD, marking the end of the long road and the beginnings of what we hope will be exciting and rewarding careers for each of you. These scholars have received research support from the National Science Foundation, the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, the Emil Aaltonen Foundation, and the Brown Graduate School, among others. They've published peer-reviewed research articles, given lectures to academic audiences, and shared their work more broadly with the campus community and the public at large. They have taught and mentored students and peers in the classroom and beyond, developing their own pedagogies and working to balance the academic trifecta of research, teaching, and service. And perhaps most importantly for them, they're all moving on to exciting new professional opportunities. First up, Dr. Juho Korhonen. Juho, stand here. Dr. Korhonen receives his PhD today for his dissertation entitled Empire, Democracy, Nation and State, Sociological Occlusions of the German and Russian Empires. His dissertation advisor, Michael Kennedy, writes, in his dissertation, Juho explores the relationship among social forces associated with socialism, nationalism, empire, and democracy in two imperial contexts, Russian and German, at the turn of the 20th century. Using a wide array of documents from that time, from memoirs and legal treaties to cartoons, Juho breaks our 21st century sense of the 20th century's start, with implications for our own times. What, for example, might we learn from German socialists debating how to make their empire more democratic? And what might the world's first advanced democracy at that time, a Finland within the Russian Empire, say about extending democracy today? With a breadth of learning in association with the most subtle wit, Juho moves all his readers in deepening our sociological imaginations, even as he makes those imaginations more human. We have learned much with Juho and look forward to learning more, even more, in the decades to come. How changes we see in the world, he changes how we see the world, and for the better. This fall, Dr. Korhonen will begin an assistant professor position in the sociology department at Boğaziçi University in Istanbul, Turkey. Congratulations. Dr. Zhen Liu. Dr. Liu receives her PhD today for her dissertation entitled Well-Being of Migrant Families, Evidences from China and Mexico. Her dissertation advisor, Michael White, writes, in her doctoral dissertation, Zhen Liu carried out 3 thematically related investigations of migration. As a sociologist, she is interested not only in the volume and pattern of migration, but also the impact of migration on close family members. To understand this, she examined data from China and Mexico. In the case of China, Zhen found that migration contributes to health inequality among older parents in rural China, with older adults left behind in rural areas faring less well when their children leave for the cities. Her statistical analyses also pointed to important concerns that arise for schooling among children left behind in both rural and urban areas of China, and for marital stability for migrants from Mexico to the United States. Her studies point to the important social and policy considerations that often accompany the very beneficial economic effects of migration. In 2018-2019, Zhen Liu has held a postdoctoral position at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. In September, she will assume a position as assistant professor of sociology at Zhejiang University in China. Congratulations. Dr. Michael Murphy, in absentia. Michael is unable to, let's give him a round. Michael is unable to join us today, but he is receiving his PhD this year for his dissertation entitled Rhode Island and the Plantation Problem, an inquiry into the origins and legacies of racialized socio-ecological relations. Michael's dissertation was co-chaired by Jose Itzikson and myself. Michael's study investigates socio-ecological relations constituted by and influencing indigenous dispossession, African enslavement, and settler colonialism in the Rhode Island and Providence plantations over the long durée from 1630 to 2015. Through persistent work in the archives, he argues that we must understand colonial landscapes as racialized constructions and, conversely, that the meanings ascribed to racial differences in the colonial era and beyond have depended fundamentally on people's locations in and relationships to land, water, and animals. Michael has lit upon a set of historical cases spanning nearly 400 years that bring these dynamics to light, and they are as relevant today as ever. Combining a sophisticated theoretical framework with a deep sense of social ethics, Dr. Murphy has begun to uncover the origins of American racism and its grounding, quite literally, in the landscapes of New England. This fall, Dr. Murphy will begin his second year as Assistant Professor of Sociology at the University of Pittsburgh. Dr. Yashis Vaidya. Dr. Vaidya receives his PhD today for his dissertation titled Determinants and Metrics of Community Context and Health Outcomes in the Presence of Urban Transformations. His dissertation advisor, Michael White, writes, in his doctoral dissertation, Yashis investigated child health in his home country of Nepal. He not only examined existing survey data for residents of Chitwan Valley, but also received National Science Foundation funding to collect additional information on health outcomes for a cohort of children. Yashis's research documented the ways in which neighborhoods and villages in this once rural area gradually gained services and greater access to the contemporary economy. Building out from this, Yashis also explained the way in which community conditions, particularly community capital, can predict subsequent nutritional health in children. In his analysis of childhood anemia, Yashis found that distance from the urban core and ethnic group membership predict appreciable variation in the prevalence of this condition. For the last year, Yashis has been working with Data IQ, a data science and machine learning startup in New York City, and he will be based out of their Amsterdam office starting this summer. Congratulations. That concludes the celebration of our graduate students. I know that I also speak for my faculty and staff colleagues when I say we will miss you and that we wish you the great success in your future careers. Please come back and visit as often as you like.
Thank you, Scott. I've been at Brown 17 years, and I finally discovered what these hats are for. So please, we were going to turn the air conditioning on, but there was a little hitch there. I now have the honor of introducing Professor Carrie Spearin. Carrie, there's going to be lots more opportunity to cheer Carrie in a moment. Carrie is the co-director of the undergraduate studies program, and she really is the heart and soul of this program. I think, and I speak for all of us when I say we can't thank her enough for her commitment, her dedication, and all the work and effort she puts into running our graduate program. But this year I have the distinct pleasure of also being able to share with you the news that this year Carrie has been awarded the Dean of Faculty's Award for Excellence in Teaching for 2019. So please join me in congratulating Carrie.
Down. All right, here we go. So good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor to recognize the students who are graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology and a Bachelor of Science in Social Analysis and Research. As the co-director of undergraduate studies and the instructor of the senior seminar, I've had the pleasure of working with these graduates for several years, some of them since their very first minutes at Brown. I have truly enjoyed watching and engaging with them as they've grappled with difficult questions about the social world. They are a fantastic group of scholars and people, and I have no doubt that they will go on to contribute meaningfully and thoughtfully to whatever fields they choose to pursue. At this time, I would also like to thank all the parents, the family, the friends, as well as those who could not be with us today who support our students. As college professors, we do our best to challenge and develop students' thinking, but we could not do our job without the solid foundations you provide. On behalf of all the faculty, I thank you for the support and encouragement you have given our students, and all the support and encouragement I am sure you will continue to give them as they move out into the world. Thank you. Before I award the diplomas, our department would like to recognize 3 outstanding students for academic achievement and dedication to the sociology community. I'd like to call up Jardel Johnson, Bryan Solomon, and Soo-Yoon Kim. You're first.
Oh boy.
And I think they might have something special for you.
Is this the money?
The Samuel L.C. Lamport Prize in International Understanding is offered to an undergraduate student for a thesis that focuses on understanding with an emphasis on cooperation and tolerance. Our recipient this year is Jardel Johnson. In her honors thesis, Who is a Woman? The Politics and Paradox of Institutional Gender Boundaries at U.S. Women's Colleges, Jardel created her own database of women's college admissions policies and compiled and analyzed over 50 newspaper articles to develop a detail-rich thesis about variation in institutional definitions of gender and boundary making. As described by her thesis advisor, Emilia Halvorsen, Jardel's thesis provides a novel and compelling theory about conceptions of gender. Congratulations, Jardel.
Can I sit down now?
Yeah, you can. Come closer. Our second award is for the dedication to the concentration, which is given to students who have dedicated extraordinary time, effort, and commitment to fostering a sense of community among undergraduate students and faculty in the department. This year's recipients are Soo-Yoon Kim and Bryan Solomon. Thank you both for your work this semester. Congratulations. I'm having difficulty with the mic here. So now on to the diplomas. When I call your name, please come across, accept your diploma, and then come stand next to me on this nice mat so I can say fantastic things about you. Ready? So some of our students who are graduating with 2 concentrations have chosen to receive their diplomas from a different department or program, and others just could not be here today. Even so, they have been students, peers, and friends of the department. I want to offer heartfelt congratulations in absentia to Eshwari Amathani Gam, Liam Halowski, Catherine Law, Caitlin O'Berry, Obisike Okoli, Erica Steves, Brian Tung, Travis Vasquez, and Carmen Zhang. Let's begin with those receiving the Bachelor of Arts in Sociology. Callan Barish David. Cal was drawn to sociology by my class, Sex, Gender, and Society, despite its 9 a.m. start time on his very first day at Brown, Wednesday morning. His academic work in the field culminated in a senior honors thesis about presidential appeals to American nationalism. After graduation, he's planning to move to New York to work in the food industry. Ayana Kagagan. Close. Ayena came to sociology after bouncing around many concentrations and found that it helped her understand how her own background as an immigrant, as well as the underlying processes around us. Post-Brown, she is hoping to work in the civic, technology, and digital health field industry. Congratulations. Oh, look at that. Lakita Childs. Ready? Lakita, a queer black woman from Chicago, Illinois, found that sociology helped explain why people function the way they do and how different people contribute to society. Through sociology, Lakita was able to learn more about social issues and how to talk about them. Congratulations. Amara Clark. Come stand close. Amara came to Brown expecting to concentrate in BEO, but quickly realized that it was actually sociology that urged her to question society as a whole. She has focused her studies on the effects of race, class, and gender, as well as the perpetuation of violence. Amara is taking the next year to focus on herself and her family and to teach English in Spain before pursuing a graduate degree in social work. Congratulations. Thank you. Emilia Halvorsen. Emilia became interested in sociology after an internship with the Jewish Museum of Maryland and immediately fell in love with sociology's ability to look more closely at parts of life we often take for granted. Since then, Emilia has come full circle with her senior honors thesis, which examined a local museum outreach program. After graduation, she plans to work on music and other creative projects while pursuing opportunities in museum evaluation. Congratulations. Elizabeth Huff. In sociology, Elizabeth found an imagination and perspective that she could harness, something she is especially grateful for. Elizabeth would like to thank Professor Elliott for his mentorship in both research and scholarship. Ultimately, she plans to go to law school for public interest law and hopes she will also find a way to integrate visual arts, her other passion. Congratulations. Soyoon Kim. Soyoon was drawn to sociology by the prospect of gaining the tools to understand the world on a structural level in hopes of engendering progressive social change. She would like to thank her loving and caring family, especially her parents, friends, mentors, and professors, without whom she could not have completed this degree. Soyoon will be working as a Campus Life Fellow at Brown following graduation. Congratulations. Banju Jenna Koo. After entering Brown as an econ concentrator, Banju switched to sociology for its versatility. She found that sociology allowed her to examine problems systematically and logically, both on an individual and societal scale, ultimately changing both her personal and professional outlooks. Banju hopes to use sociology to conduct market research for startups and is currently considering several options. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Marisa Karabakh. Marisa, a professional musician since the age of 8, became interested in sociology as a means of deepening the impact of her music and lyrics. After graduation, she'll be moving to Los Angeles to work on her music career full-time and pursue a Master's of Music Industry at the University of Southern California. Congratulations. Rachel Annuit. Rachel was originally drawn to sociology because it helped her explain the who, why, what, and where. A double concentrator in sociology and education studies, she will be working as an educational tour consultant for Education First in Boston, post-Brown. Congratulations. Harris Mamam. Harris, who entered Brown as an entrepreneur, switched from BEO to sociology after finding he needed to understand better the dynamics between people within organizations. Since then, he has successfully launched one startup that was acquired, and after Brown, he plans to pursue another business venture that he started about a year ago. Congratulations. Congratulations. Katriana Okamoto. Within sociology, Katriana became most fascinated by the creation and performance of class and social capital. Throughout her time at Brown, Katriana found that sociology faculty provided her an invaluable education in addition to support and friendship outside the classroom. After Brown, Katriana will be moving to New York City. Congratulations. Nadir Pearson. Nadir, originally from Clifton, New Jersey, pivoted from Division I athletics to being full-time entrepreneur during his time at Brown. Following graduation, Nadir plans to apply his sociological knowledge in the growing cannabis sector, where he will work to address economic and racial disparities. Bryan Solomon. While at Brown, Bryan has blossomed into a critical scholar, thinking through the co-constructive natures of gender, race, and capitalism and their intersections with other social structures. After graduation, Bryan plans to keep things slow, hopefully doing anti-capitalist community organizing while incorporating somatic and dance practices into those communities. Congratulations. Joseph Foucault. Originally from Stamford, Connecticut, Joseph entered Brown as an economics concentrator. It's like a theme today. But switched to sociology when he realized that he was more interested in understanding people and society as flexible and ever-changing social organisms. After graduation, Joseph will be joining the Eris Management private equity team, which specializes in leveraged and distressed buyouts, growth equity, and rescue capital. Congratulations. Now, those receiving their Bachelor of Science in Social Analysis and Research. Jardel Johnson. During her time as a concentrator, Jardel has contributed to the sociology community by starting the first departmental undergraduate group for social analysis and research students. Thank you. Jardel has accepted a position as a trainee lawyer at Slaughter & May, a multinational commercial law firm headquartered in London following graduation. Congratulations. Saron Michale. like I want it perfect. No problem. Saron is an international student from Ethiopia who is drawn to sociology because of her interest in the intersection of culture, social justice, and business. After graduation, Saron will be launching her own startup, GoTeff, which sells nutritious and delicious food products made from the superfood teff in partnership with Ethiopian farmers. Congratulations. And that concludes our list of undergraduates completing their degree. May you go forth and do amazing things. Please give them and all who have supported them a round of applause.
Thank you, Carrie. I'm acutely aware of the fact that I'm the last thing literally standing between you and celebrating and some cold drinks, etc. So I would like to bring this ceremony to an end, but before doing so, I would like to express a simple wish and some words of thanks. To all our graduates, may you go forth boldly, may you embrace new worlds, and being the great sociologist that you are, may the critique always be with you. And a word of thanks for our faculty and to all of those who participated in today's ceremony. The path to a BA, the path to an MA, the path to a PhD is a long and arduous one. It requires a lot of work, a lot of perseverance, and an extraordinary support system. None of our graduates today would have stood before us to receive their degrees if it had not been for the support of parents, families, friends, and for the many sacrifices, emotional and of course material, that you've all made over the years. So I would like to now ask the faculty to stand, and I would like to ask our graduates and undergraduates to stand as well, and to turn around and to join me in offering our thanks to friends and family. Thank you all very much. This concludes the Department of Sociology ceremonies for 2019. I hope some of you will stay around and have time to interact with faculty and students. Thank you very much.